Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for another Black Clover coverage of chapters double chapter 280 and 281. So let's get started. Let's have the show and let's talk about how do we feel about these two chapters, because we're here for double. Like we said, we sometimes do weekly, we do double, or we do triple. So let's get started with the show. We're here for another Black Clover.
To hear about the anime going on hiatus, like that's what affected the quality of this chapter. Like that makes me sad thinking about it.
Yeah.
Chat. I did just see that there was no audio there. I just put the audio on my phone.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna repeat what we just said. Now we're all good on that. Ray, go ahead and repeat what you said.
No. So what I was saying is like, I feel like there's a big gap in quality in these two chapters. Like, to be completely honest, and what I was saying is like, I'm hoping that like him hearing about the anime going on hiatus didn't kind of like make him like sad. Which I mean, like I guess it might. And so that's what affected the quality of this chapter, which makes me sad thinking about. I'm like, oh no, like I don't want him to be sad. You know what I'm saying?
I really hope that's not the case, man, because I mean we know he was heavily involved in the anime filler.
Yeah.
So it's like he's obviously cares deeply about this story, but it's like I don't know what's happening. You know, like Ray alluded to, like I don't know what's happening. Like, was he sad? Like, I don't know.
It's very curious to know where the anime production and where the manga right now is in a weird spot for the production itself, because with the anime right now stopping 170, and right now with chapter 281, like Ray said earlier, I don't know if you guys heard in that part where he seemed like 280, the art slap, those double spread slap, those demons and everything. Beautiful art style in chapter 280, and then 281 seemed like some panels were very unfinished, but like we said, is that maybe that was giving the anime freedom for him to draw it or for them to add more to it. So it depends on where are they going to take it. So I'm really curious to know. But let's get into chapter 280, what happened last week. So chapter 280, it starts off with them literally having a conversation of the actual twins coming out and just showing their strength, and Jack just being slammed to the wall.
Two devils of the highest order have been released.
On the first layer, which is crazy to think about too.
Yeah, that's scary to think about, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And then Knock is doing his best to dodge all he can, but they're on a different level, like he knows. And now we know that the outside, those demons came out in a beautiful double spread in page 4 and 5. Those demons look amazing. I really like the art style he did. Little black and white, a lot of shading in them. I can't wait to see how they look in the anime whenever it happens now, because we know goddamn well that's not gonna happen in the anime for the next 8 or so episodes.
We about to get bleached, bro. Like it's about to happen. We're getting bleached, and I'm sad about it. But like, who knows when we'll get the rest of this?
I don't know, man. Like, I will sing the anime's praises, dude. Like, yes, the animation itself can be spotty at times, and it can be jarring in certain situations. But I love the anime so much. Like, I'm on my second rewatch of the anime right now. I'm back up to episode 130 of the anime. That's how much I love Black Clover. And to think that Periot's dropping it after 170, like, it hurts me, especially when you read all of the stuff that we're gonna talk about in this episode and on previous episodes. Like, there's so much going on with these devils coming out of the underworld and seeing Asta going beyond his limits and learning more about his devil abilities. And the devil that has been inside his grimoire, we learned so much about Lieb. It's like, how can we not have an anime to finish this? It's like, I'm glad that we have something. We'll have the manga, but it makes me really sad, guys.
I mean, I get that. It's just, I'm telling you, I love 280. I legitimately really enjoyed chapter 280. Like, I was really like, I thought that was like, that's got like Tabata like on all cylinders. You know what I'm saying? Like, the art was slapping. The story was like, he gave us little hints for things that was happening. There were big changes that I was like, oh, okay, this is good. And then, like I said, 281 was like, wait, what happened? What happened? What's happened? Like, that moment, I feel like should have been way more impactful, but it wasn't. You know? And we'll get to that. That moment at the end of that chapter. I was like, I thought that would have been way more impactful, but to me, it just wasn't. I was like, oh, okay. You know, it was the moment before that really got me like, oh, and then that happened, and I was like, oh.
Me too. I love that moment, but then it just happened so quick. But we'll be there in a second. Yeah. So again, in Marilona, in other words, she said it like again. In other words, the real fight starts for real now, and she knows that she's about to fight against this demon in round 2, and she knows like this is about to square up and be the serious fight, the serious battle now. So I'm very excited for that too.
I mean, this will probably be like the first hard fight that she's had.
Yeah, like actually,
and plus her first challenging fight.
And this is her by herself this time, because last time it was her and a couple of other magic captains and a couple of other people. Now this is her by herself fighting a full demon.
Versus, I guess, what do we call these? The ancient demons?
Yes.
And then all these other demons that have escaped now. It's her versus all of that. And I'm like, just give me the 3 episodes of that. I'll watch it.
Yeah, right?
Hell yeah.
One of the biggest reveals in this chapter that I really liked as well were the roots coming out of the underworld, absorbing the mana of the living world
in the air.
So it's like, so I want to know how that affects the magic knights that have to tap into that mana to fight these demons. So there's layers to the difficulty of this fight. Also, unlocking just this first layer of the underworld, we're fighting 2 of the highest order of demons, and we see all of these demons coming out. And this also now allows the Dark Triad to use 100% of their devil power. I didn't think that would happen just from one layer being opened. I thought it would have taken at least halfway before they're able to access that power. So how did you guys think about that?
So I'm really worried because like what you just said, like they're basically absorbing mana. They're eating it.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes away from not just our captains, but the world.
Mm-hmm.
So is that kind of where he's headed with this? Is like, this is these demons, like the underworld splitting open starts to take away from the real world, and like places become uninhabitable, and like they have to like move. I don't know, like that would be crazy to me, because you know there are strong mana regions that exist.
Yeah.
And like, what if they just went and started eating all that up? That would be insane. You know, like, but are we getting to the point where that's something he's gonna do? I don't know.
I hope so. I feel like, and it all depends on when he wants to end Black Clover, but I feel like the next logical step is to take even more away from our heroes. I think that they should have to abandon the Clover Kingdom, and I feel like they should have to fight to get all of that back from all the demons that escaped. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping the next arc after this finishes is going to be about.
Me too, because I just want I want to see like this continuation of this parallel between Yuno and Asta, but I just hope it doesn't take the traditional shonen rival route where they become the Naruto Sasuke type deal instead of the friends that they are. You know what I'm saying? Because like they are friends, and we can all see that. They're legitimate rivals. They want to push each other to be better, but while trying to be the best at the same time.
Like you said, I really hope that doesn't happen, because Yuno only treats Asta terribly because that's how he needs to view Asta to see him as a rival. He can't just look at my friend that I'm trying to surpass, he needs to look at him as an actual like rival, like someone that I need to beat. And I do love those small moments where he's just like so incredibly proud of Asta and everything he's accomplished, because that'll only make him stronger.
Because it's the brotherly rivalry, you know what I'm saying? That's what I like about these two characters. But I mean, just kind of speaking on the situation that they're in, I need this situation to not just kind of be wrapped up, if that makes sense. I need there to be serious consequences for the world because the demon world was even like open even remotely a little bit. Like I need it to last. Like I need it to have an effect, something that stays within what's happening. Like, you know, within the world, if that makes sense. I don't want it to be like, oh, that happened and we fixed it. No, I want like there to be like, okay, so we weren't able to save it in time, and so this is a result of that, even though we made sure it wasn't worse. Like that's what I'm hoping happens with this, because he's kind of built this up to be like that. I think
I think so too.
Opening, so I'm like, I'm really, really, really hoping that, because I mean, now you have, I would say, if we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extremely powerful demons out there. You know, the two ancient ones. I mean, the Dark Triad, and now these twins.
Right.
So that ain't good. I don't think we can. I'm hoping he doesn't rely on Asta to beat every single one of them.
Yes.
I hope he don't, and I hope we use other like other characters to actually show the strength, like Fuego, Nazo, like they are the next magic.
Because I'm worried that Asta just goes on this world tour of like, I'm gonna beat everybody for everybody, and I'm like, please don't.
I hope Noelle defeats Vanica. I hope Asta defeats Dante, and I hope that Yuno's the one that defeats Zeno to get payback for vengeance. So that's how I hope it plays out. I really hope that they don't rely on Asta to do all of this, because I think the point of showing us this battle on multiple fronts is to do that. You know what I mean? So let's hope that's the direction they take. Vash?
I was gonna ask, how did you guys think about the new fully 100% power of Dante, Zeno, and Bianca / Ninjakula? What did you guys think about that? Because
Zeno and Bianca look
the best ones.
Amazing.
They look amazing.
Their designs are great.
Still look ugly piece of shit.
Good.
Like, no offense to Dante, but he still looks ugly piece of all blackness there.
I mean, I think you could tell that he doesn't like Dante as much, or that Dante has another form. Like still.
Maybe because it's just literally pure blackness, and like you know, from what she from the black and white
I will say that Dante's is absolutely the most boring.
It's the most boring. Like Zeno, the bones and everything reminds me of some type of Bleach and everything. So
he looks like a hollow from Bleach. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we got our Gomijikula / Bianca looking good and crazy and creepy. Like, just please step on me. I like that.
I've seen some fan art of that.
Same here. If you want to join our Discord, there's a couple of nice fan art and nice no safe for work type of fan art there too. But
I have seen some color versions of some folks who tagged me in that looked incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, if you do, please, please.
People did such a good job, like with the colorization of that panel. I was like, wow, y'all are real talented out here.
Yeah. I also love the fact that the Magic Knight captains aren't like perfectly powered enough to take them on now. Like even when they were still at 70%, it was still a really hard fight, and now they're at 100%. So now they have to even push further past their limits. So that's something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, because Charlotte right here is struggling now with Bianca saying like, "Hey, you're being a mean or what? I like you so much. Let's still fight. Come at me, bro." So like they're still enjoying their fight and everything. These twins right now are about to fight Knock and everything. So it's like what's gonna happen. But then we get the cliffhanger of this chapter 280. The demon just arose inside the Clover Kingdom and now gonna cause trouble. And the Asta like still finish up his training, or he just took a break. And then we get in the ending of chapter 280. How did you guys feel about the ending of that chapter?
So before we get to the end, I want to talk about the ambiguity of the two high level demons that showed up.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah,
because there's a chance that they don't engage and they just leave because they're free.
That's a good point, dude. They may not even care to.
Yeah, exactly. They don't even care enough to fight them. They're like, "Yo, weak as hell. We don't care about you." And they leave because they're free from the demon realm. Like, why would they sit here and try to fight these folks? You know what I'm saying? So I'm actually I'm hoping that happens because they can't stop them.
Dude, thank you for bringing that up. I actually hope that those two demons leave and we don't see them again until the next arc. And then it's like, well, what are they doing? We have to find them because
what have they been doing?
Extremely high level demons just living out in the world. That's a great point, bro.
I would hope so, because like he says, however, there's no telling what devils of the highest order may do. Someone has to keep them occupied as well. And what if they can't?
Yeah, because they technically could just up and leave, because from what you just said, they're the highest order. So, and there's more coming. Nobody could keep track of all of them. Nobody could know where they're going. We have not seen every single kingdom or country. So there's more to be told. We know that dwarves lives. We don't know where. We know there's different section of elves, some type of territory in each type of country. So there is possibilities to see more of those coming down.
Yeah, so I'm like, what trouble could they go stir up? You know, from what they know, would be super interesting. So I'm like, I'm hoping they don't just get beat here, and it's like, we beat those devils. Please don't. Please don't.
What I'm curious to see as well is that what other eyes Nock has, because that type of eye he's seeing. It reminds me of some type of Sharingan eye, like not the shape and everything, but the use of power. Where in that panel he uses eye and like his veins or blood, goes in. But then he looks at Morris, it's like, oh, he goes unchecked. Before in our last video, we said in our day, like, what happened if Morris is the big bad, the one that's using the puppet strings? What happened if he's the one that's been doing everything behind the scenes?
I think Nock recognizes that.
Yeah.
Here. Essentially he's like, okay, well, we've got to deal with these two demons, but I really have to go deal with him because he's accelerating this ritual in a way that we didn't anticipate.
Yeah.
So, I'm telling you, I thought that 280 was a great chapter. It really was. And it's like, well, now shit's about to get real. So what happens? But then, as we kind of end the chapter with Asta, and Lieb showing that their training is, I don't know, at least partially complete.
Yeah, I want to believe it's complete. Like that like last exhale seems like, all right, we've accomplished something. Now it's time to move into action. That's how I took it.
I can see that. But Mercenary, he's like, I've been operating on the theory that Zagrid was originally from the Spade Kingdom. And I like that because the opening of 281, I think, kind of further delves into that.
Yep.
There's that like I don't know what you call it, like prophecy of the story of the two demons, and I'm like, maybe.
But since you're on it now, so let's start with chapter 281 with our first page itself, because this prophecy of the two demons of the twins, of them having hatred with each other because of how much they're jealous of each other, how great each of them are, remind me of a religion, of how like there's always that type of prophecy, of how there's always that type of story, and that reminded me a lot about it. So it's very intriguing, and that type of kingdom behind it reminds me of the Spade Kingdom as well, or the Clover Kingdom, either or, depending of the way it's formatted, because the way it's structured, it looks like more like the Clover Kingdom.
I thought that was really interesting to even bring up at all. Demons are a miracle born from human hatred and the power of the underworld.
So it comes from emotions. That's where it comes more from.
So basically, he kind of explained that what happened with Lich, way back when. So
that's what I wanted to bring up, right? Because we see the two demons, and I feel like you only turn into these demon forms when you do a spell of like the highest order of forbidden magic. So
like narrow.
So how much hatred like was brought up between them, and which one of them did like something forbidden in magic that turned them both into these ancient demons?
Yeah,
so it's because I have so many questions about that.
Yeah, because it adds to what you guys were saying just now, is that it shows the yin and yang, that the 4-leaf clover is the light, is what Yuno has, and then the 5th-leaf clover is when you are infused with a lot of hatred, a lot of darkness, a lot of hatred emotions, and that's what happened to Lich, to turn into the higher.
So, but what I'm seeing here is that like there was no good side. That they both turned into demons because they were both jealous of each other. Hatred.
Because they were both jealous of each other and got infused with hatred. And they were not spoken about any type of grimoires because it's a long, long ago in the Spit Kingdom there were two royals youths. So
and they were close friends that at some point their affection turned to hatred.
It reminded me of the avatar of Fire Lord Ozai and Avatar Roku. That's what it reminds me of, how they were both close friends with each other. But then Fire Lord Ozai got jealous of him, of how much power he has, but never used it. So that's what kind of reminds me of how these two grew up with each other and became like that.
Yeah, I mean, but this also confirmed to me that the demons that are now out there are these two demons. Yeah, they weren't. It's not the body of Lich that was there before.
Yeah, correct.
These are two different demons.
Right. Yeah.
So that was, I'm glad they confirmed that, because I'm like, yeah, that didn't make sense where they came from also. So that confirms where these two demons came from, at least. So I'm not going to try to look too much into that, you know. But
and then we find out the twins that are out there right now fighting Nock and Jack the Ripper. That we find it right now. Those two twins were like the gatekeeper of those two strong, high, big demons. Those two were the gatekeepers.
What do you think that was actually who he was referring to?
I believe so, because it said that regarding those two ancient demons, we woke them up. We released them in order to distract you. With so many of your mages here, will the Clover Kingdom be able to protect itself?
So what I read that as is like he was telling that these Grim Burials were guarding those two ancient demons.
Yes.
So I'm thinking they're saying that we woke up the ancient demons, not that they woke up those devils.
Right. That
was my guess.
Okay.
Unless did they give a name to those demons? Were they called Grand Bearers in 280? I didn't remember. Let me go back and look.
No, I don't recall seeing that in 280.
Yeah, same.
That's only something that we saw in 281.
Yeah, that's just brought right now. So the Green Berries. So that's brand new.
But, so unless that's their names, I don't know.
But Mercenary wants to know, like, if we think we'll find out if like the names of who like the royals are that turns into the demons. I think we will, but when? That is my question. Mm-hmm, when do we find out?
I would also like to know what family line that was.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like,
and if it was,
could they be
family
like
line.
Exactly.
Like he's a descendant of one of those two demons.
Which is nuts when you think about it.
Or it could be, Asta could be one of the descendants of those, but I don't know. But probably not. It's probably for sure. So
yeah, who knows?
I don't want to say for sure, but maybe.
But I want to talk about Julius showing back up.
Oh
yes.
Oh wait, hold up. I just searched them. The Grim Berries were guarding those two ancient demons. We woke them up. The Grim Berries were the house of Yuno's family. I just searched them.
There we go.
The Lois and Seal, Yuno.
See?
So I searched up the house of Grim Burial peacefully ruled over the Spade Kingdom until Zuggerte's siblings attacked the king and the royal family of the Dark Triad, took over and ruler of the kingdom, and captain the royal guard and everything, etc. That probably know already. So
there we go.
That is technically Yuno's last name. Yuno Grim Burial.
There we go.
Huh.
Okay.
That's
good
dope.
thing. Hey, we're a live show. I did the research, so here we are.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. We're a live show. We can do this stuff all the time. Like,
so
we're here learning at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we release him to distract you with so many. Oh, so maybe I wonder if just that's why he has that facial expression.
So who was guarding it like previously then?
Before Yuno's family, or
no? I mean, like in the meantime, like who was guarding it that like they killed apparently?
Maybe one of the Dark Triad's people that were guarding it until the time.
Is Nox related to Yuno? Is my real question. Like, was he one of the Guardians?
I don't know. These are really good questions.
That was one of our theories before, back in the summer, back when we first got introduced to Nox. So yeah, it could be.
That would make sense actually, because if he took him back to one of their family homes, and it was all they knew about all this demon shit. Yeah.
Questions.
Yeah, I can't wait to get confirmation on that, because now my mind's just spinning on this shit.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That just brings more questions now that I'm like, the Grim Bears were all guarding those two ancient demons. We walked them up. We released them. Okay, cool. But let's go to the next pages. The Song of the Kingdom we happen here. And then we have Julius. In this body, I'm not really no match for that thing, of course, because you have one page. But then he works with somebody saying, hey, I'm sorry to access, but you're not really a Magic Knight. I need your help. I'm like, yo, he's still...
Who is that?
That's a macho.
That was, what's his name? Scale Dude.
That was a macho.
I think it threw me off because I guess in this panel the person's hair looks longer.
It does. You're right. And so I'm like, who is that? But well, I thought it was the guy with the scales.
His name is Damacho. I probably could be pronouncing his name wrong, but I know it's Damacho.
Yeah, because the face looks different, the hair looks different to me, so I didn't put that together. I'm not saying like you could be right, but he looks way different to me, and I don't know how his scale magic could make Julius age up 10 years.
But then it doesn't bother me because like he aged up for like what, probably 5 minutes to fly up there and then like say announce something and then boom, he goes back into a kid again. Like damn, that was so quick. Like he couldn't do much. And I'm really happy because who I'm excited is the Vortex Magic Area Helix. I'm curious to know if that was from the Purple Oracle or was that from the Fuego from the Fuego Vermilion.
I thought it was the purple. I thought it was the Purple Oracle. Yeah, the Vortex Magic. Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought it was Vermilion's little brother. Fuego's little brother. I can't remember his name.
Leo.
Oh,
yeah, Leo. I thought it could have been Leo because we haven't seen Leo. Because
I think it would have been like a pillar magic because that's all he ever uses.
True. And I hope this Wizard King dies. Sorry, not the Wizard King, the king of the Clover Kingdom, because he's like, make it stop. I'm like, boy, I hope you get a flame. I hope you just get thrown.
So I'm pretty sure the significance of this chapter to me is that everybody's super excited to see Julius the Wizard King because they're like, oh my god, he's gonna save us, but then they're saved by Asta.
That's what
in place of the Wizard King.
Yes, that's what I felt like that because
I feel like that's the biggest deal of this chapter.
His line were exactly
this. Deal for me.
His line were exactly this. He said, I'm out of time already. Why? It's too soon. I can't hold it at bay any longer. And then he said, in this world, magic is everything. And then guess who saves him? Who saves the Clover Kingdom? The guy that has no magic at all and has the power of a demon. And I think that
got me really hyped, dude. It got
that moment, that line was important.
So, but then the big old tease. How it is nothing but a big old tease. Last words are Devil Union. So does that mean the next chapter we actually get to see it?
Yes. I think next chapter. Well, not next chapter, but I think definitely the next time we see Asta, we will definitely see his full Devil Union form.
I think it's going to be off screen that everybody else sees it except us, the audience. And I think that we're going to see it probably by chapter 290 or something like that. Because I feel like the audience...
Like we won't see it until he...
that's what I'm saying. Until he shows up with his Goku moment to fight the triad with them. So we're not going to see... I'm thinking we don't see it next chapter. He goes back to the fights. And I'm like, stop trying to get top until you tease.
It's like us, the audience won't see it. But... I feel like, Julius would be like, oh, that's a cool form. I'm excited. You know, he's going to show like, oh my God, that's amazing. Dope. But then we won't see until he fights Dante or like, he'll be like, hey, I'm going to get my captain back and everything. And then that's when we show his wings or whatever is going to be happening with this form.
You're right. He's definitely, you guys are right. My biggest thing from this is just Julius. Like, I need to know who that person was. And I need to know what did they do to help Julius age up 10 years? Like, what could they have possibly done to help Julius? And then why did it only last after Julius did one spell?
If you look really, 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 really closely at Julius, you see these like time markings on his forehead on page 12. And then you see them again on page 14? And they're like kind of imbued all around him.
It's on his wrist as well. I'm wondering
what that means.
It's on his wrist and on his forehead and everything. I was wondering that because I was wondering that in page 12 in his forehead, and he's 25 here. Last time I think we saw him when he was 27 when his original time, and I'm curious to know because he said I advanced my body by 10 years. But how
he should be 23? Because the amount of time he saved was 13 years, and if this is 10 years, he should be 23 now.
So if that's the case, because I'm curious to know how did our boy Damacho, how did he use the skill magic? Like, did he balance the time, or did he stop the time for him to control time? Even though that sounds very confusing, but yes.
See, that's the thing. I don't think that he had anything to do with it, because the only thing that we see him use his scale magic for
was to get the demon.
Is to shrink the size of the blast coming from the ancient demon.
That is true, or maybe to hold the demon in place with the scale magic, or maybe to make the scale magic
Well,
smaller.
we see it. Like if you look at
you
page
can
11,
see on page 11, yeah,
you can
11
see
and 12,
the energy ball shrink from the mass size that it had. So that's what he's doing.
Oh, okay, I see. And also, props to Solid and the other people that showed their strength, because they even said it that they even said that thing in damn it, I spent 6 months training my magic, and the best I can do it is divert the magic. Hey, that's still props, because if you couldn't do nothing before and you could only do divert the magic, that's still props. Like, that's impressive.
For a powered up ancient demon, you deflected one of his attacks. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal, and you help save people not getting hurt instead of you divert the magic somewhere else. That's still doing something. That's still being part. And Solid, I hate the other people there, but I'm happy Solid and them is doing something at least, because those other siblings are a piece of trash, but they're at least doing something.
I'm glad Solid powered up, because the last time we saw him, like, he was getting the work from Noel.
I want you to look at chat. Owl's reference there is very, very good. It's very good, and I love it, to be completely honest.
That is actually perfect.
So Owl goes, I think this arc is going to end with Asta and Noct being trapped in the underworld as a reference to Dante's Inferno, which Tabata's referenced before. And how sick would that be, is they have to fight their way out of the underworld with Noct as Asta's guide.
Yes. Now,
that would be perfect.
Owl, thank you.
That would be perfect.
Now, please.
No, Owl, that's really good, because if people have read Dante Inferno for school and everything, that's how it goes. Like, you're escaping purgatory, you're escaping hell.
You're welcome. Thanks. I think that'd be sick. I would love that. But I'm like, so then, is Yami the one that they're trying to save in the underworld, or is it someone else? Because the goal is to, like, Dante's down there to save the love of his life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
man, this is dope.
I would love. I legitimately would love that, because then, like, we don't even have to worry about what's happening up here in the kingdoms. What's happening in the underworld? Like, and how do we? I would love that,
because I've always been intrigued of, like, what is an underworld, because we have seen it in comics of Robin and everything goes on to save Raven or other stuff like that. Like, I'm curious to know of how is it that, imagine Asta goes of Noct, like, this would be some type of body cop. We can meet new demons. We can meet some demons that are actually good, and they actually change their ways from having hatred to love. Like, I'm really curious to know, like, what other type of demons we will find down there, any other type of archangels, or how is there type of forest of demons, or any type of tribes. Like, that would be very intriguing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that would fit perfectly if these twin demons get away. So while we're focusing on everything that's happening in the underworld, like, yeah, another time skip happens and we find out, like, what they've done and how they've tried to, like, you know, like, what they've been doing and what, like, everything else has been happening. Oh man, that'd be sick.
Yeah, because in some type of shows or in some type of mediums, when you go to the underworld, time moves slow. But imagine
time is still passing. Yep.
But imagine when they come back, they could grow like 5 years, but then for them it's just been like 2-3 months.
So then Asta, like, and this. So remember how we were talking before, how we were like, Asta's not like all the way ready to be the Wizard King. I feel like him going through the underworld would give him, like, he would have to learn real quick.
Oh yeah.
And so I feel like that would be a great way to, like, build his character. Like, as a character, like, we already know he's strong, but, like, as a person, he's not built that way yet to be Wizard King. Like, I think while they're gone, does become the Wizard King, in some way. And then, oh man,
I just hope Asta get some height too, because, like, Asta needs some growth for, like.
No, he don't. He don't need that. He's fine. He could be a little demon tank, and it's okay. But no, I'll thank you for that. That's a really good. I think that's a great.
Yeah,
reference.
we did speak about that months ago about Asta being there in the underworld, but we never mentioned Dante's Inferno, and we never mentioned about him going with Noct or somebody. But him to actually be trapped with somebody else, that would be an interesting type of parallel, because it would be intriguing. And also, if you saw Asta in the last panel as well, it was also a little bit there on his shoulder, and plus, who was watching him in the back, it was Julius and Damacho, and Damacho is the one that banned him from the Clover Kingdom. So I'm curious to know
what's going. Saved him.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know now, how is he gonna be? Like, is he gonna thank him? Is he gonna say something against it, like, "Hey, I appreciate you for saving the kingdom," or like, "Hey, you're still, banned. You're still not."
I think it's gonna be one of those things where it's like, okay, You helped us. Thanks. I still don't know what to think about you and this devil magic, essentially, because now he's about to see him turn into like a full demon, essentially. And that's going to be like, hey, yo, hold up. So I'm curious.
I think he'll just stop like the case against Asta because when we saw the trial the first time before this entire arc started, like he pretty much told Asta that he has to prove his worth to the kingdom.
Exactly.
And that's him doing that.
And
right
I feel
now.
like here, like him defeating this ancient demon and saving them from this is that, like literally that right here.
And this is so important too. Like I love like these last two panels where you can see so many magic knights, so many of the royals and the nobles looking at Asta taking down this ancient demon that not even the Wizard King and Damnatio was even able to do.
Right, agreed. I'm like, that's a big moment for Asta. Like I think that's a huge moment for him. It's a big
commoner.
Exactly. A commoner with anti-magic saving all of us. Wow.
And with no magic, and when and when Julius just said that magic is everything in this type of world, and that contradicts what he just said now, that person with no magic.
That's Asta shattering that. Like, that's what I liked. But then Denzel brings up a good point, too. Expanding on Asta going to the underworld with Noct and meeting new demons. Do you think Asta possibly making contracts with other demons? I don't know. That could be interesting, though.
I think there's definitely the potential for that to happen, because I feel like that's why he showed us Noct with multiple devils. I think multiple devils, like maybe even just one more devil, just to give Asta like a different type of ability, but maybe not, because he has anti-magic, which is the antithesis to everything else in this world. So I think it would be so cool if he got another devil, but I also don't want that, because it kind of takes away from Asta's uniqueness of his drive being his magical power and having anti-magic. But I think it would be dope.
I do too. I think that'd be cool. It'd be interesting to see how he kind of like explains that.
I just realized with this panel on page 16, 17 that Asta and Yuno are now technically the same. How Asta has our little small Libby, and Yuno has a little small spirit on his side as well. They both have a little small little
those spirits fight. You know,
yes,
have an argument, because you know they're gonna have an argument. It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah,
like,
because
what is that thing on your shoulder? I can't wait.
And they're probably gonna hit each other like, no, stop it, and everything. Like, that would be so dope to see that type of chemistry with both of the little spirits next to each other. And to go back to what Ray was saying, that if they would get contracts together, if Asta would get more contracts to like Noct, it's possible. It's possible in that route.
The reason why I do see it is because we've established that anti-magic is a power, not a magic. So I could see him getting more, maybe some other powers. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe. Do you think maybe that's how he adds different type of weapons instead of swords? He could just, if he finds like some type of hammer demon or any other types of weaponized type of demon modes.
I feel like they've already established that Asta's preferred weapon is a blade.
Yeah.
No, I know. So, I'm just throwing that. Like, maybe he could just find different type of weapons, like maybe some type of daggers. Who knows?
Like, my hope, like if they expand with weapons, I hope it's not tied to any other demons or anybody else. Like, we've already seen that Asta can just pick up a weapon and imbue it with anti-magic. So I hope if they do stuff like that, that's just what he does. Like, he just picks up an axe and just imbues it with a bunch of anti-magic and uses it. Like, I think that would be cool. But I don't need another devil to do that. If he does get another devil contract, I hope it's something unique that he can't already do already. You know?
That's what I'm hoping for.
Like, everyone's powering up with like runes and like ultimate magic and that kind of stuff. So it's like, besides full devil union, what's next for Asta? I don't know.
Yeah, what's the next step? Like that, and that's why I'm like, what is the potential next power up of this? So that's y'all asking really good questions.
Oh yeah.
And that's the reason why we do this, because stuff that we didn't think about or see possible, and you guys bring it up. Joel said, Boundless in Noel last stand against Bianca, a spell started being written in Noel's grimoire. My theory is that Undyne transferred herself to Noel to redo the curse Magicula did to her. Interesting.
Yeah, I see that happening for sure. Like, earlier on, like the first time we met the water spirit, I was like, oh, they're setting it up for the Heart Kingdom Queen to eventually die. Like, I think she's gonna sacrifice herself to do something, or the curse just takes her, and then the spirit chooses Noelle because she's worthy. So I definitely see that happen, and I can't wait for it.
I agree, but yeah, man, yeah, a dwarf weapon,
I was about to ask that.
for
Yeah,
Asta would be sick.
a sword dwarf weapon would be amazing, and to have some type of attribute or some type of lightning where he could absorb more magic with that would be amazing.
I would love to see him have
something different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I would love for him to have like a Stormbreaker type of weapon.
Exactly.
Like,
that'd
be sick.
That would. So like maybe he loses his weapons here, like they're taken from him, and he has to get his own weapon. You know,
man,
all the weapons he's had, they were already there. Like they weren't his. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's like, oh, that's my blade, or that blade belonged to such and such. Like
that's true.
His own weapon.
He doesn't have his own weapon that he chose and everything, so this would be pretty interesting for him to actually make his own weapon or choose his own weapon instead of grabbing different weapons like a Yami's sword, Lich's sword, and everything. Actually, his own blade.
That would be awesome. I'm also okay if it doesn't happen, because at the end of the Eye of the Midnight Sun arc, Lich pretty much told Asta, like, yeah, this grimoire and these weapons are yours.
Yeah, now.
Now. so I'm okay if it doesn't happen, but if it does, like, I think that would be huge growth for Asta, because those weapons have attributes of their own. So if he doesn't have them anymore, he has to figure out how to use anti-magic in a completely different way now.
Yeah, because if I'm correct, Demon Dweller Sword is the one that could absorb magic being attacked from him, and then he could send them back. And
I thought that was Destroyer.
I can't remember what each source does specifically.
I mean, I'll be honest, Tamatai hasn't done a good job of just laying it out. You have to keep track of it and remember.
Yeah, it's like I know one sword deflects magic and cancels it out. One sword can absorb magic, and then you can use that magic to send it back.
Yeah, and then, and then I thought Destroyer was the one that can absorb magic and send it back.
Yeah,
I think so. And then the Demon Dweller, which is the last one that he got, that dispels magic entirely.
Right.
So I know what they do, but I can't remember.
I don't remember which ones. Yeah.
I can't remember which ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this last panel, these last 2 pages blew me away, man, because this is such a huge moment, for the world, again, to see the Wizard King and the head of the Magic Council not be able to do anything. Exactly. They failed. And who saves us? A commoner. A commoner with devil magic is going to save us from this ancient demon the exact same way that the first Wizard King did. That hit my heart so much, and I love it, bro. This is going to be great for Asta in general, just for people to see that it takes so much more than being of royal blood to be a great magic knight and to be a Wizard King.
I think about all the people we could have had, but you decided to think that people who were born of lower socioeconomic status weren't good enough.
And to add to what James and Ray was saying about the swords, he has 4 official swords from what they're saying. Is a Demon Slayer, a Demon Dweller, and a Demon Destroyer, and they calling Yami's sword is called Demon Slasher Katana.
I hate it.
I hate it too. It's a terrible name.
That's what they're calling it.
That's like my other phone, the Galaxy Z Fold 25G. What a shitty name!
But yeah, so I was right. The one that me and James spoke about, the one that absorbs everything, is called Demon Dweller. Yep. And the Demon Destroyer is where he can infuse anti-magic and stop attacks. And the Demon Slayer
I'll say there's 2 more swords we haven't seen?
Yeah, because Lich has 5 swords. So
okay.
Lich had 5 swords?
Yes. From what it says here, that we have 2 swords to see.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yes, please.
Because
I want to see those.
Yeah. Because remember one of the swords that he found, it was the thing of the Demon Destroyer or the Demon Slayer was the one in the Diamond Kingdom, when he found Mars in the beginning.
So Destroyer dispels magic effects, Dweller absorbs, and the other one, because which one lets him do Getsuga Tensho? Because that's exactly what it is. Don't say anything. It's nothing different. It's literally a Getsuga Tensho. Same color.
Demon Dweller. It's Demon Dweller.
It's Demon Dweller. Okay, there you go. I was like, that's a Getsuga Tensho. You ain't fooling me.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, Lich, his original affinity is sword magic.
So that's
interesting.
Like he should have more swords than in that book, and all he does is the same sword.
Okay. I need to go back and reread that whole.
That's something
I need to go back and reread that whole thing because there was a lot happened there with the Witch Queen.
Yeah, and James,
I need to go back and reread that.
And plus, you watched the arc again, so
yeah, I guess I missed it again. I'll have to go back and pay more attention to that.
I haven't seen. I haven't read the officials yet. Joel, why are you here? But it was cool seeing the Clover Kingdom thinking that magic power is everything, and then Asta flies in and defines it. Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yeah, man. I love that kind of stuff, man, because it just shows like it doesn't matter if you're a royal blood. It takes your conviction, your beliefs, and showing results, like Julius has said before, that makes a true wizard king. Like just being of noble blood does not mean that you know what's best for an entire kingdom of people.
Exactly. Thank you. And that's why I really like this story, like, because it does have a deeper meaning. It's not all about power. It's not all about money. It's not all about status. It's about the will of one to help people and do better by people. That's what makes it. That's what makes it interesting. And
I'll always bring this up, and I haven't seen any more of these theories anymore, but this is why I never subscribed to the whole Asta being an angel thing.
I think that's dead. At least it better be.
I hope so, because it takes away from everything that Julius is trying to build and who Asta is. Asta is a commoner. He comes from one of the poorest villages ever, right? So it's like, if someone like that can rise to be a magic knight, can be actual potential to be the wizard king. That's what this story is about, breaking these boundaries. Julius hates the nobles because of how they look down on everyone else. This is the point of his mission as well, which is what makes Asta one of the people to be one of the greatest candidates to be wizard king.
Yep. Man, I'm all about it. Black Clover is very good, y'all, but y'all know this. The folks that are here, y'all know this. And like I said, we're sad that the anime is going on hiatus. I'm not, because I refuse to say cancel. I refuse to say cancel.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping the Tawa touches that. I hope that fuels Tawa to make the manga that much better. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's like, okay, anime's going on hiatus. I'm gotta kick this into maximum overdrive and get shit done. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Dude, another thing that I love is look at the size of Asta's blade. Can you imagine if that blade ends up being the exact same size that the exact same size blade that the Wizard King used against that first ancient demon in the beginning? Dude, the parallels.
Yep. So bro, that's what the chat brought up, that this is almost the same parallel of what the first Wizard King did, and that's what Asta inspires to become the next Wizard King. The 28th one.
Beautiful.
And I think it becomes more than I think that and this also becomes the fact of, yes, your goal was admirable, but you can be more than the Wizard King without being the Wizard King.
Yes.
That's what I'm hoping he learns.
It's taking of how Sasuke is not the Hokage, but he acts more like Hokage to some people.
Well, I mean, I feel like that was kind of shallow anyway. It's like, yeah, I want to be the Hokage. He becomes a Hokage. Big whoop. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'm hoping that Asta learns. It's like, yes, that was a lofty and aspirational goal, but you can be more than the Wizard King ever was.
Imagine if Yuno becomes the Wizard King, but Asta becomes the king of the Clover Kingdom, where people fall in love with him as where people love the Wizard King and the actual king.
I'm always that guy. No kings, no queens, only man. They abolished that whole system. I'm because that's what's keeping people down anyway.
That's true.
What I'm saying?
Denzel, I hear you, Ben, but for me personally, I don't want Asta to have anything special about him, because to me, the point of Asta is him using his own mindset, his own physical attributes, his willingness to never give up is his superpower. That's what I'm hoping. I don't want him to be half anything. I just want Asta to be Asta.
And I feel like we've already confirmed that Asta is special. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like he is able to surpass his limits more than any other person ever has before. And I feel like that's the point. He's doing it without what's been assumed as how you're supposed to do things.
Yeah.
And him using this devil magic, forbidden. Him being magicless, looked down upon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's the point. He made himself special. But then he was also chosen in special circumstances. So
yeah. Because the other thing for me, right, is when he got the devil power, when the Witch Queen unlocked his devil powers, she herself says that it didn't work the way she expected it to, right? Because the devil power was supposed to completely consume him, but because of how Asta innately is, it didn't, and he's able to control it even better than what she thought. You know what I mean?
Is that because the underworld had to be open for that contract to be fulfilled?
I don't know, because why would that matter if Lieb hasn't been in the underworld for a long time?
And that's the point. because this wasn't a contract made from the underworld. Lieb he's just been there. Like he was in this grimoire. He was disconnected from all that. Everything that Lieb has came from him being in that grimoire. And that's why they're different.
Asta has that, and that's
he's a different kind of devil, essentially. Like he's not one of those underworld devils. So
he's it kind of makes him unique because of what the witch said and what the chapter said is that not being special is what makes you special. You not being so important, you not being a child prophecy makes you special because you're changing things up without being a special circumstance.
Yeah. But Billy brought up the question of what do you guys think the special announcement is after 170?
We said it last week on the podcast episode, and James, you could go first since you weren't on the podcast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, what do you think it is?
I don't know, man. I legitimately have no idea.
Because remind me, did Parrot announce that they are dropping it?
No, all they said is they're stopping episode 170, and they have a special announcement. So a lot of people theories is this: one is a movie. And then goes back to production. 2 is going to turn into seasonal, meaning 12 episodes every year, or 12 episodes in winter, then 12 episodes in the fall, meaning they have a 6 months break to do production. Or C, studio para production, people quit, and then they say, all right, let's change it to a different studio. So those are the 3 options that they could go to. I don't think it's a 4th option where it's going to be drop, and nobody's going to pick it up.
I hope not, because Black Clover still. I keep telling people Black Clover is just going to get more popular. I think they're pausing to give Tabata more room to fill out the story so they can do more with the anime.
So that's what I'm hoping, because yes, he created the filler, but that was because he created the 6 months gap in the manga. So like you just said, I'm hoping that the anime is taking a break to allow a lot more chapters to build up so that they don't get caught up so quickly.
So they don't have to make a bunch more filler.
And
plus, that's double the work.
And plus, for example, we have right now 25 or less chapters that they could be cut up, because right now they just did Dante's arc, where right now that's around 250. They're less than 30 chapters close. They could catch up within 10 to 15 episodes, and we're already here.
Yeah, 6 to 10. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's hard for them to do more production, and when they have a weekly type of anime, it's hard. And
so seasonal it is. That's the announcement, boys and girls. That's our contacts seasonal.
my hope is movie first. And
so what would the movie be about?
My idea is that, remember, talk about the 2 light novels. One light novel, it became the game that Yumi played. They have another light. Yeah. And they have another light novel that maybe they could do as a movie, or maybe Tabata has an idea of a movie and hasn't spoken about it and has not been leaked. So who knows? I don't know what it is.
I'm thinking, like, what purpose would a movie serve at this point?
Or maybe it could give Yuno's backstory. Maybe it could add more to the lore of the Spade Kingdom.
I'm like, maybe it's a Spade Kingdom movie.
Yeah,
it's the movie of the Spade Kingdom, which would be interesting. Don't get me wrong. I feel like that history is needed now. To kind of fill in a bunch of gaps that we got.
And that was all
this is like cropped up because of the Spade Kingdom. But what happened in the Spade Kingdom? We know that people showed up, people died, people fled. It would be nice to have a lot more background context of the Spade Kingdom.
Yeah. Yes. Joel, I'm gonna challenge you and Ray on that. It's like, my thing is, I personally don't think it'll make sense for them to get a power-up now that the underworld is open, simply because when Lee was in the underworld, he still didn't even have magic when he was there.
So what I'm assuming, like, my guess is that because, so you remember how they said that they were able to absorb more mana? That's what I'm thinking. That he has more access to, like, his heritage, like his racial type traits. It's like
that makes more sense.
He can absorb more mana now, like which he couldn't do before.
That makes more sense.
That's not something they were doing before. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, and I'm like, that's just a guess. I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure. But once you put it like that, it makes sense to me that maybe Leap can access more anti-magic now that the gates are opening. That makes perfect sense to me. So thank you for the clarification.
Maybe, I don't know, but I think that'd be cool.
yeah, for sure.
It's like, oh, well, now because Asta surpassed his limits, so like now maybe Leap can surpass his limits.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. I dig that.
It's possible where it's gonna go and where it's gonna go with the characters, because I'm curious to know how Asta is gonna be.
Oh shit! Yeah. Listen, that's a real good question. When do you think the Heart Kingdom Force is gonna show up? And what the hell are they gonna do now? Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
No, like, and the elves and where's the ultimate magic training? Because we also don't know about that. We never saw that in this whole filler arc.
I'm like, is their training gonna be enough to come and fight literal demons, bro? Like, I don't know. Like, I just. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like, where are the elves? When do they show up? Because we know that Raya,
and how do they help?
Yeah. Raya, Veto, Fauna, and Patri. They're still around. So it's like, when do they show up and help?
I'm assuming they show up to help Leona because Asta's already got the other one. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see when they show up, when we learn more about ultimate magic. When does Noelle show up to fight Vonica? Like, man, so much good shit to happen.
There's a lot that he can still do.
Yeah.
Which makes me happy. There's no like one true place we can see it going, which I'm really happy about. So
love that.
Thanks for being so into this, chat. Good job.
Yeah, appreciate Chad, you guys as always.
We love it, you being here and being involved with us and everything. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And the last thing,
but JR did also bring up a good point that a movie would help with the popularity, which is important.
Yes, as well. It's just like what they did with Demon Slayer. Maybe them stopping production and them actually putting in money and time.
That, but
yeah. But maybe the Black Clover anime and actually focus on production and good animation.
Black Clover's popularity, like on its own in Japan, is actually pretty good.
It is.
A movie would bolster that. I think you're right.
Yeah.
So it would definitely be helpful for that as well. So any last thoughts, guys?
No, I'm excited. Like, show me the Devil Union. I know you won't, but show it to me.
Same. Just give me more. I'm ready to see Asta's full Devil Union abilities. Like, Asta has become one of my favorite shonen characters, and I love him, man. Just give me more.
Same here as well. So guys, thank you guys for watching. I apologize on my end for the hiccup in the beginning, the whole no audio narrative, so I apologize for that. But overall, thank you guys here for joining. Will there be a Black Clover coverage for Valentine's Day? We will see and find out. If not, we will definitely do a coverage for the next week following that for sure. If we don't do it that Sunday for Valentine's, but we'll definitely do it. If it's a hype one, it'll probably be like a video and we'll have it out the following day. But definitely guys, check out for it. Like, comment, subscribe, and definitely check out all our videos of my hero and Attack on Titan that we're about to do, and Jobless Reincarnation as well with me and Sam, myself as well. So definitely guys, check that out. Outro time.